Good morning. Welcome to a daily outlook and a screening of the trade currencies that we might be able to get into. Firstly, let's just look at any news that might impact us this morning. So just going across, looking at the diary here. What we've got sitting here at the moment then is well, we've got one speaker there. According to this, there are other events, and I just need to go across and look at what's coming up. The Eurozone Centix investor confidence isn't a biggie for us here. Eurozone retail sales, we've seen the individual, so not big at all. We have got Yellen speaking at 4:30. Goolsby speaking. I've never heard of that name before. Anyway, must be a newer one. Speaking at 6:30, so it's really an Harker then at 2300 hours. So it's quite late. The other, just looking at that, 11 p.m. Yep. So quite late. The speakers, so not a great deal that should affect us today. So we're left with the sort of the fallout from the non-farms from last Friday. A very quiet day yesterday, which seems that traders had a bit of a, I don't know, it just sort of went off a little bit funny. I was looking for what news drove it at 1 o'clock. Morning. I was looking for the news that actually drove it, and I couldn't see what sort of drove the news yesterday at 1 o'clock, or the day before, yesterday at 1 o'clock. Anyway, let's get on and look through the charts. And morning, Michael. What's going on here? So the euro dollar. I'm just looking at the 4-hourly now. In normal days, and it might be that later on today I short this, bearing in mind the 4-hourly bar that's there at the moment doesn't finish until 10. So on the close of that bar, it might give me something. I'm just sort of looking at really the nice price action. Looks quite sweet for a bit of downside. You come down to the hourlies here, it's got sort of quite a decent build up. It's got its bearish engulfing clicking through here I don't really want to get in too early either way. It's one of those, we've seen this sort of data coming out yesterday, or the price action happening through yesterday, and before then it wasn't really reflecting the same sort of thing, and really I'm so suspicious over it. Last week it obviously got quite choppy in the end, and towards the end on Good Friday a lot of traders just don't trade, very light volumes. So it's a bit of a case of wait this morning to see what happens with this euro a little bit more, maybe, because it's sort of, was this sell-off that actually started really at 12, went through to 1? What caused that sort of bigger movement? Obviously, smaller traders. Most of the bigger bank traders wouldn't be doing too much at all there, so it could recover all the way through and carry on breaking or chopping to the side. So patience this morning. That's a similar case on most of these markets, I'm going to say, so I don't need to go through massively, but I'm just looking for any quick opportunities. The pound seems to have sat a little bit better, and it's a little bit stronger over its weekly pivot at the moment. The bigger push, of course, on the pound still looks a little bit clearer overall. Just move down, and but the same price action, that big sort of move, the dollar buying occurring sort of midday. I may have just missed whatever news event it was that caused that, but I was sort of looking yesterday evening and just scratched my head there really. But for now, it's the pound is just pushing up. I think on the bigger picture, well, it's got scope to break this sort of trend that started sort of last week there, and well, we'll see what happens. At the moment, I guess it's quite clearly lower highs, lower lows on that. Having said that, so we'll watch and wait this morning. US dollar yen. So US dollar yen, well, it's too had that move yesterday, but I'm looking, and there's lack of clarity. Maybe sort of a bull flaggy sort of price action this morning on these markets. We've got the higher lows, higher highs through here. Just the flag aspect of this just seems quite long as it does on the euro and the pound, but we'll see what develops this morning, but it could be for the upside. We could see further upside. The US dollar seems to have sold off this morning across most markets, but how long is it going to run for? Aussie dollar, yeah, up until yesterday it had been running down, and actually even yesterday it had been running down. Then today it's popped up a little bit overnight there. It's again yesterday the sell-off coming through. I would look at this, the 4-hourly pivots not that far above. If you could get back into that and have a reaction to that, I would be quite happy looking on the shorter side. Bear in mind what it's been doing on the bigger time frames here. So that's all I've really got at the moment on the Aussie. Patience needed. The Canadian dollar. The Canadian dollar seems to be the stronger currency at the moment. It's still sort of okay. It's unfortunately, well, I say unfortunately, the dollar did actually get ahead of it at one stage there and start pushing back up. Started the week strong, the Canadian dollar here, but the US dollar fought back. But it's just looking, it came off yesterday, maybe a drop below the pivot. We could see a continuation, so that weekly pivot's key at the moment. But daily, well, it has been selling off the gain this morning. It recovered from whatever pushed the dollar up yesterday. This pulled back. Okay, New Zealand dollar, just having a look. Yeah, this is lower highs, lower lows running through. It's only an hourly picture, but it looks a bit softer. And it is one of the softer pairs. In fact, I think it is the softest pair looking through. Euro yen. Just looking here on the hourlies for a moment, but you can just see it's just in the midst of nowhere. It's chopping between it's neither come back to hit its daily pivot or run up to its R1 at the moment. It's somewhere in between. Weekly wise, well, it's already hit the weekly pivot and pushed through. Daily wise, bit of a mess. Now we've got a lot of short sellers on the retail side on this, and whenever we see something like that, it just gives the potential for one last push. If it's going to run to the upside, maybe just to take out the stops that are sitting above the highs here, but there have been orders sitting above. I just wonder if that's going to push on upwards. So obviously it's the natural place to put your buy stops even is above the highs here if you shorted it, and it seems to be heading that way. Once that retail number falls down a little bit, maybe it'll roll over as well. So a bit of a struggle this morning. To be fair, I don't like when we've had 2 days of market open without many traders in it. It sort of makes for questionable moves. The likes the Euro, Aussie, etc. Well, the Aussie's pushing up the best this morning. Nothing significant like that straight away. Euro CAD is one of my usual culprits for trying to get a trade in. Now this on the shorter time frames here could come to something on dailies here. It's strengthened pretty well yesterday from sort of earlier on. It pushed on there. I'll watch this morning. In fact, it's probably one of the best ones at the moment to keep an eye on. I haven't really seen too much else so far. So Euro CAD is on my watch list this morning. I've just switched off the lights. Sorry, I have a load of markers on my watch list, and I've just switched the rest off from last week. So I'll watch this morning. This to me looks like it's got some scope. It was yes, it's been pushing up there but the dailies more recently have been coming off a little bit, and it's a bit of a mixed old bag really. We'll see what it does, but it could be on for today. Okay, that's pretty much it there on the currency pairs. Let's just have a look. Morning, Ian. Let's have a look across the other markets briefly and look at gold first. Gold sitting above the 2,000 nearly, actually around the $2,000 mark still. 199. It's a discount. That's a discounted price. 1999. Quick, buy some. I'm joking. Well, I'm saying that the overall picture on gold still looks bullish. Gold is a bit of a protective asset, I guess. At times a lot of traders have moved to it. Not had the best of last week, and well, had a push up this morning by looks of things. Just looking at the times, lower high, lower lows, we've got a bit of this extended sort of wave here, and it's put a higher low in amongst it, so it's broken its trend line. If you're drawing it from these 2 points here, it'll have broken the trend line. It just looks like it's got some scope for the upside. Okay, that's gold. Let's switch across back to the dailies, he says, and look at oil, spot crude then. So yeah, this was last week. It chipped up then. It's been consolidated pretty much ever since. It's not really ranging out of that. Let me just check Brent or UK oil as it is on our charts here. Pretty much the same old thing here. So pretty much sideward action. So nothing to be done there for me at this stage. Maybe later. It's starting to look, these markets starting to look like the more they consolidate around this high, the more chance they might have of pushing on further. But I'm still looking below at that big gap, and gaps are notorious for getting filled. So there we are. There's the majors there. Let's just quick look through the equity markets. Now some of these are still closed, he says. Oh, no, it's open. It's open. CSI 300 then, just coming off last couple of days there. Then Nikkei gapped up, but stayed up there, but it's leaving gaps. In fact, it's left a little island reversal here, which suggests we could see further upside. These gaps, just as I mentioned it when it was doing it here, the sort of island reversal sort of pattern, and then off it dropped. Maybe it's got a rally the other way on that. Nifty 50. Okay, finally breaking the trend here. As this trend comes to an end, well, it's put a higher low in right the way back here, and it's sort of been working its way up. It's retested, it's broken through and retesting the trend line at the moment, just to see how what develops from this. But there is scope for that to push up further now. S&Ps. So S&P's like, I mean, it's like a lot of currency markets on a daily basis. It's just chopping along there at the moment, quite uncertain. We do have some other data coming out this week. We've got inflation, we've got CPI, the PPI, and retail sales from the US. Now they're all afternoon, so it's going to be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday afternoon when we're going to be waiting for data. Now I don't think this market is necessarily locked into waiting for that data, but it might just be looking for the close really. It's sort of bullish where it's sitting up here, so I'd rather be on the buy side than the sell side on it as it sits. The Dow Jones, similar sort of pattern. The Nasdaq was pushing up better. It's broken through the prior highs, the highs from back here in February, and it's again, in fact, it probably looks the best of them all. But just the consolidation that's running through. The DAX. So the DAX, it looks like it had a little gap up over the weekend there. It's pushed up. Again, sitting around these highs. At some point, the way it's sitting around these, I just think it's gonna push up and break up. I haven't looked at what the retail traders are doing on DAX, but I wouldn't mind betting there'll be a lot of shorters. So we could get a bit of a short squeeze happening there. And the FTSE's continue to recover. Again, a little gap there over the long weekend. It's got scope to continue. It's got a way to go before these prior highs here. There's quite a job to do yet. Okay, finally switching to the crypto markets here, and a quick look at what's happened to Bitcoin yesterday. Well, yesterday saw the proper breakout and close above these prior highs here. So it's been toying around that area. Said last week, more bullish. The longer it can hold around the highs, the better potential it's got, and well, yesterday saw that run through and it's kicked in through today. Probably got buyers now coming into this, so beware. We could see sellers handing it back to them. But Ethereum's pretty much the same picture. And Ripple, let's have a look at Ripple. Okay, so Ripple's behind the curve in terms of the picture. It's not managed to do what it did a couple of weeks ago, but it is still pushing stronger here at the moment. So overall, looks like some good news for those crypto holders. There is some positive moves there. So that's pretty much it for me this morning. I will speak to you again in the morning. Love to. Okay, Robbie, you would like to ask questions. You can ask questions. I do have a channel available. You can pop questions on Discord. You'll see the details on the link to this morning outlook. So do fire across. So I can't answer them now this morning, but I will answer them on there. If you just join it and throw the questions on there. Okay, catch you later.